There are hundreds, if not thousands, of EVM chains out there. Some of the popular ones include Ethereum, Polygon, BNB Chain, Arbitrum, OP, and a lot more. However, with a lot of tools out there that makes it very, very easy for anyone to create their own blockchain, there are literally thousands, again, if not tens of thousands, of new blockchains. If you head to Chainlist, you'll be able to scroll through all the current mainnet EVM chains available. The term EVM as well is Ethereum Virtual Machine, or essentially what networks are compatible with MetaMask. All addresses start with 0x, followed by a selection of random letters and numbers. However, with all the choice out there, is there a blockchain which we could call perhaps the best? In terms of daily transactions and also user base, BNB Chain and Polygon trump Ethereum here. However, the main thing with Ethereum, it contains by far the largest volume in terms of monetary value. But why is this, even though it's one of the most expensive and arguably slowest EVM chains out there? Let's delve into the data and have a look behind the scenes. Using publicly available data, we're going to be using Dune to look at a number of metrics behind the blockchains. Also, we're going to only include the blockchains that score highly on that criteria. Otherwise, we're going to be here all day comparing tens of thousands of EVM chains. I'd just like to remind everyone as well that this video is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Personally, I'm not a licensed financial advisor, and investing in cryptocurrency always carries risk. Let's get to it. Obviously, this data can be interpreted in different ways as well. However, I'm just going to be analyzing it on the face of it. If you've got any more analytical observations that you'd like to add, please do so in the comments. We'd love to hear about it. First up, in terms of user base, BNB Chain and also Polygon Proof of Stake are at the top of the leaderboard here. On BNB Chain alone, there's been approximately 3.1 million transactions and also 915,000 addresses. In second place, in terms of size of user base as well, we have Polygon with transactions around 2.2 million this month or in the last 30 days. 325,000 unique addresses have interacted on the blockchain within that time, which puts it close to Ethereum's user base size, which in the last month has had approximately 1 million transactions and the number of unique addresses nearly 300,000. After that, in terms of user base size, we can see networks such as Arbitrum, ZK Sync, Girly Testnet, OP Mainnet, and more. But in terms of sheer number of transactions and unique wallet addresses, BNB Chain here remains king. EVM blockchains as well as other blockchains use something called blocks to process data. The speed at which a blockchain can operate is normally dependent on their block time, or how long it takes the network to process one block. One block can contain a bundle of transactions, for example, swaps from Uniswap, sending transactions to different wallets, and a lot more as well. In comparison to the data that we've just looked at as well in terms of user base, if we look at it for block time, it's like the data has been turned upside down. In terms of the longest block time, it's Ethereum and also Girly Testnet, which essentially is just Ethereum. Currently, Ethereum is processing block times at around 12.11 seconds, with BNB Chain at around 3 seconds, Polygon at 2.17 seconds, and then as we move up the list into first place, we have Arbitrum 1 with a time of 0.27 seconds per block. Obviously, this does require different back-end code, and for all the nodes and validators to stay synchronized with each other. However, 0.2 seconds for one block is very, very fast indeed in comparison to other EVM blockchains, as we can see. In a way, this is a double-edged sword as well, because validators essentially will need to save all the blocks, which takes up storage space. So to an extent, there is a balance between how fast you'd like to make a network and also the processing power that you're going to put on validators running the network. We can see in a solid second position as well, ZK Sync has a very fast block time of only 1 second. However, it's not always been that way. If we look at the data from over the past 12 months, we can see that ZK Sync did have an average block time of sometimes over 10,000 seconds when the network was getting started. However, as we can see now, the average block time has settled down, and once again, it sits in a solid second place, in first place being Arbitrum 1 with a block time that was 0.27 seconds. The longest block time on this chart is obviously the Girly testnet at 15 seconds. However, if we ignore that because it's a testnet and look at Ethereum, that's 12 seconds for Ethereum and then 1 second for ZK Sync Sierra, Arbitrum 1 0.26, meaning essentially that ZK Sync could process 12 blocks in the time that it takes Ethereum to do 1, and also Arbitrum could process up to 48 blocks in the time that it takes Ethereum to do just 1 block. But how much do these chains cost to use? Every transaction incurs a gas fee, whether it be for a swap or just sending tokens to a friend or a colleague. If we look at data from over the last 12 months, we can see that Ethereum sits solidly as the most expensive blockchain blockchain EVM out there, with the average cost for gas being around $4.69 per transaction, meaning every time that you want to swap a token, you'd need to pay that gas fee. Obviously, this can change dramatically as well, depending on the time of day, what launches perhaps are being made as well. Arbitrum 1, as we discussed, one of the blockchains having the fastest block time of 0.27 seconds, has the second highest gas fee though, coming in at around $1.68 at the moment, but obviously that can change a lot. The second fastest block times was ZK Sync, and that has an average gas fee of around 20 cents. The cheapest fees though, however, at the moment on EVM chains that we're looking at comes in with CeeLo at an average cost per transaction of just $0.001. The block time for CeeLo is around 5 seconds as well, so it's not that fast, not that slow. However, 5 seconds to process a transaction in the grand scheme of things is generally, in my opinion, quite fast. Obviously, there are other blockchains out there as well that can process transactions for a lot cheaper, perhaps such as ICP and Solana. However, today we are just looking at EVM chains. In the future, we'll probably do a video about all blockchains. Anyway, moving on to another metric. The number of newly created contracts and also contracts on a blockchain can be a good indicator to activity on the blockchain. People need to make contracts perhaps to make tokens, to make liquidity pools, and basically just to use that chain. We can see on the data here, up until around September 2023, a lot of people were making new contracts on BNB chain. However, that switched to OP mainnet, it looks like. This could, however, be due to OP B&B launching. We can also see that there's been steady contract creation on Polygon and Ethereum during the past year as well. New chains coming into the scene as well, such as CeeLo, do make up quite a significant market share. However, what's interesting is to see Base Chain, which uses Ethereum as its gas token, grabbing quite a high percentage of market share from its inception. Since Coinbase's Base Chain uses Ethereum as its gas token, a lot of people perhaps are more bullish on Base than BNB chain, primarily perhaps due to the SEC's stance on Ethereum over BNB chain. That is purely speculation, but it's perhaps something to bear in mind also. Now on to US dollar amount volume for the chains. Ethereum here remains number one, always has been, and in my opinion, always will be for the foreseeable future. Ethereum is often seen as the gold standard of EVM blockchains. And since the gas fee is relatively high there, making a trade costs perhaps at least $6 to $10, so people can't just quickly flip tokens, often holding tokens for longer and hopefully, fingers crossed, getting a better profit. In second place is BNB, followed by Arbitrum and then Polygon as well. So that's an overview of some of the main metrics of the EVM chains that are currently popular. If we break it down into a TLDR, Ethereum has the most monetary volume on the chain, BNB chain has the largest user base, Arbitrum 1 has the fastest block time at a blazing 0.27 seconds, and perhaps we could say as well that Base Chain is a good up-and-comer in terms of the number of contracts created on the chain. What do you think is the sweet spot for all these EVM chains? In my personal eyes, again, this is not financial advice whatsoever, BNB chain sits at a good point in terms of user base and also price. But there are significant advantages on other chains as well, such as speed and price, as we've looked at. What chain do you think will come out on top in the coming years? Obviously, there can't remain tens of thousands of EVM chains. There's going to be a few that sort of take that top spot. Is it going to remain BNB, Ethereum, Polygon, or will it change? Let us know in the comments. Speak very soon. Bye-bye.